I'm going to give you a quick run through of your Microsoft account. We all have access to something called Office 365, which gives you free access to all kinds of Microsoft programs. You're probably used to using Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, but there are all kinds of other programs that you can use as well. Normally, you would have to pay for this kind of access. Those programs can be kind of expensive, but since we have accounts through school, you can access them for absolutely free. I want to show you real quickly my website, which is always a good place to go because I have all kinds of instructions about these things and links to go to. So if you're going to remember one website this year, make it mine because it's that good. MrJRobson.com. And you got to spell it out. MisterJRobson.com. That's my website. And if you go there, you will find all these links and all this information that will help you to sign in and get on Teams and do all the other things that you need to do. You don't necessarily have to go to, but if you do, I kind of try to make things a little bit easier for you. I'll just show you if you want to go yourself to your Microsoft account, you just open up any browser, doesn't matter which browser, and you type in office.com, OFFICE.com. And then once you come to this page, you want to make sure you sign in. Now, if you happen to do it from my website and click this link, it'll take you directly to the sign in page, which kind of saves you a little step. But again, if you're on this step, you just click sign in and it'll take you to that page. Now, when you sign in, you're going to sign in with your school email address. You have a school email address. The first part is the same thing you use when you sign into a computer at school. It's just your first initial dot last name. So mine would be something like that. If your name is George Waters, you would put G.Waters. Okay, and then on the end, you would put at sjasd.ca. Let me just make that a little bigger so you can see. G.Waters at sjasd.ca. If your name happens to be Ronald McDonald, you just put r.mcdonald at sjasd.ca. If you have a long name, it's usually your whole name. If you have more than one last name, put them both on there. But for most of us, it's pretty straightforward. First initial dot last name. Some people will have a number after. So if there's more than one Ronald McDonald, some people might have a 2 or a 3 or even a 4 on there, depending on how many R McDonalds there are. So this is something that you may have to check with me to make sure. And again, if you go to my website, you can contact me through there, or you can email me, mrjrobson at gmail.com is my email address. So if you already have email set up, or your parents do, mrjrobson at gmail.com if you're having trouble signing in. But for most of us, it's just your first initial dot last name. Again, some people may have a number on there. None of those people have an actual account that I can show you, so I'll just pick on my son and sign in as him. So his would be J.Robson. His name starts with J as well, sjasd.ca. And then you'll go sign in. And the password page will look like this. Now, sometimes people make a mistake. If you go from here and you put J.Robson and you forget the at sjasd.ca part, you'll come to a password page that looks like this. This is not right. You will not be able to sign in here. No matter how many times you try, it will not work. And don't email me or try this forgot password. Your password is fine. You're just in the wrong spot. You need to be on a page that looks like this. So it needs to have our school division logo. Your password is the first 3 letters of your first name, and the first one is a capital. So on my website, there's an example here. If your name happens to be George Waters, you would put the first 3 letters of George with a capital on the first one. So capital G-E-O. And then the first 3 letters of your last name, W-A-T, no capital there. And then there's 3 numbers that you need to know. These 3 numbers are the last 3 numbers of your student ID. You can usually find this. Sometimes it's called a MET number, M-E-T number. That number you can find on if you happen to have a student card at any point in time, whether it's from our school or a different school. Usually you'll have your student number on there, or if you have a report card or some kind of registration document, those numbers are on there. These are the last 3 of a bigger number. So we just take the last 3 off of there. That's the last 3 numbers of your MET number, and that's what's on there. Again, though, if you don't know that number yet or you've forgotten it, you may have to ask me. MrJRobson at gmail.com is a good way to get a hold of me, or I'll show you in a separate email how to do it from your email account. But of course, if you didn't know those numbers, you wouldn't be able to get into your email account. Let me think on that one. All right, so that's your password. So again, my son, he's going to put a capital J and then 2 more letters of his first name and then 3 letters of his last name and then 3 numbers. And no, I'm not going to tell you what those are. So once you come to this page, it's going to ask you whether you want to stay signed in. Now, if I should mention, by the way, that all of these things you can do on a phone as well as a computer, and it'll look more or less the same. A little bit different depending on which phone you're on or which device you're on, but you can do all this stuff on a device, on a phone as well. So I'm showing you on my computer, but this all works on your phone as well. Anyway, so if you're on a computer, a device that only you use or that nobody else needs to sign into these things for, you can click yes here. This is the same at school. If you sign into your computer, you're welcome to click yes here, because as soon as you sign out of your computer, nobody else will be able to access your account. So you just want to make sure you sign out of your computer. But here, most people like to click yes just so that they don't have to sign in quite as many times. You can even click this little box if you want to make sure you stay signed in. But because I'm signed into somebody else's account, I'm just going to click no. Once you do that, you come to your Office account. Now, Office, again, includes all kinds of programs. Word, PowerPoint. Here's some things that my son has done in school last year. Now, all these programs are often installed on a computer for you. If they're not, you generally have to pay for these, like I said. But because we have this account, you can click on Install Office right there. You can download all those applications for free, sign in the exact same way, and you can use those. So Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all kinds of other things, you can actually install those for free. Now, if you're on your phone, those apps are free. You don't have to pay for those anyway, so you can just go install the app and sign in the exact same way. So if you want to create a Word document or Excel spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation, you can do those right from there. If you want to send an email, you can do that from there. We also use something called OneDrive to store files. That's certainly helpful. And Teams is the way that we connect with each other and with our teachers. And I'll show you videos for those things separately. But for now, just know that you can sign into Office 365 that way. And again, all those instructions are on my website. You can find them from there. Or you can email me, mrjrobson@gmail.com, and put that way. So once you're signed in, you can go and do all the things that you need to do. Feel free to poke around and take a look at what you need to do. And yeah, this, by the way, if you go into some of these things, you might kind of lose this page. So if you go into making a Word document or something, sometimes these things go away. You usually have this little waffle at the top, and if you click that waffle, you can always get back to those exact same things. Anyways, so that's your Office 365 account. If you need to sign out so that somebody else can use your computer or whatever, you can click sign out right there. But most of us just stay signed into our Office account and go from there. If you need any help, let me know. mrjrobson@gmail.com, or just go to mrjrobson.com for all those instructions.